Hey, sflogicninja here, or you can call me David Earl, I don't care. My epic project hair and I would like to talk to you a little bit about, Logic Pro X. First, MIDI effects. Remember how much of a pain it was to put that arpeggiator in the environment window? Well, you can still do that, but you can also come over to this channel strip here, and under MIDI effects, pop an arpeggiator on. Hold down a chord, and it arpeggiates. Isn't that nice? There are a lot of MIDI effects built into Logic Pro X. You should check them all out. They're amazing. If you're a real geek, you'll script your own. You need to know Java, but you can make your own MIDI plugin. That's craziness. Okay, drum kit designer. So I come over to my channel strip. Instrument is handily located at the top of the channel strip now, which makes way more sense signal flow wise. I'm going to choose drum kit designer. Drum kit designer? Well, think of it as BFD2 built into Logic. We have drum kits of all kinds. The factory default kit's pretty cool, but you can choose a birch kit, a classic kit, pawn shop kit, 70s kit. You want plexiglass? We got plexiglass. 70s, gotta love them. If you want to switch out a drum, click the drum, swap it out. If you want to edit it, edit on the right-hand side. All of these drum kits are sampled from drum kits that we all know and love. Even though it doesn't say Ludwig on this, I'm pretty sure it's a Ludwig. Okay, so let's talk about drummer. Sometimes you want to jam with the drummer without having to call them, offer them beer, give them money, do anything that you have to do to get a drummer to bring over their entire drum set just to rehearse a song with you. Now, recording them, that's awesome. Recording drummers is very, very cool. But if you want to have a virtual drummer who kind of follows your song and knows what you're doing and is really reactive and, takes direction well, go to track, open up a new drummer track. So this is a virtual drummer that's built into Logic. And some people will go like, oh, a virtual drummer, I'm a really good finger drummer. Well, hey, I'm a really good finger drummer. And drummer is way better than me at making decisions creatively. So check it out. These regions were developed by this drummer down here. So we got a style, rock, alternative, songwriter, R&B. And I'm going to check out Gavin because I like Gavin. Gavin's cool. All right, so here's Gavin. Here are his presets. These are his different types of drum beats that he likes to do. We can decide on his dynamics and complexity. And we can also decide, hey, you know what? I don't want a kick. No, I do want the kick. I changed my mind. So let's check it out. Let's listen to what Gavin has to say. Okay, I admit, Gavin's a better drummer than me. And what kind of kit is Gavin playing? This isn't a sample loop. Keep that in mind. He's actually playing drum kit designer. Oh, but, I have my own kit. I use BFD2 or Contact 5. That's okay. Now it's MIDI. Retro synth. I'm going to come over to this instrument here and pop on retro synth, and let's have a quick look at it. Retro synth incorporates 4 different types of synthesis styles. We have subtractive, hard sync, wavetable, and FM. And as you see, the interface slightly changes for each one of these. It's a pretty cool synth. It's got a low pass filter over here that we can also change to varying different slopes, or the infamous 24 dB fat. We've got nice filter envelope, amp envelope, and modulation. I would highly suggest going through the default pads, leads, and basses. It's got a really cool sound. So retro synth is one of the new synths that's built into Logic. Like I said, it uses 4 different types of synthesis, but overall, it's pretty simple to use, and it's a nice addition to the software instruments that are built into Logic. Okay, let's talk a little bit about track stacks. So I'm going to open up a drum kit. The drum kit, of course, is using Drum Kit Designer. And it's got a stereo output. Now, there are some presets that are included with Logic Pro X that are producer kits. So Apple brought in a bunch of producers and engineers and had them mix the kit like they would want to mix it. So let's check out East Bay Plus. When I select East Bay Plus, it's not only putting a software instrument on there, it's giving me this funny little icon with a disclosure triangle. If I open that up, these are all of the tracks that are associated with the drum kit, all placed on one track. Back in the old days, we called that folders. But what's different about this is not only is it summing all together, all these tracks, summing to this one kit, but we can also play MIDI here, and it's going to play MIDI through all of those tracks. And if I record, even though the MIDI's apparently playing on what looks like an auxiliary, if I open up the mixer, this looks like an auxiliary. All of these drums are going to bus 1, which end up here. But my MIDI, I'm playing it on the track stack itself, and it has no problem. Another way to look at different track stacks and see how they're implemented is to get into some of the synths. Some of the synths are track stacks. This one called Deep Ambient Stack. That's not just one instrument, it's a whole bunch of instruments. If I open that up, retro synth, we got 3 retro synths going on at once here. And all of their associated auxiliaries that are playing the effects are also within the track stack. To pack a track stack, it's really easy. I'll flatten the stack for a second, which means put them all on individual tracks. Now holding Shift, I'll select multiple tracks. Hey, that's something we couldn't do before in Logic. So I put these all together. I make sure that this is the track that's selected, actually. So I want them all to sum up there. So I've got auxiliaries in here, I've got buses, and I've got the instruments. Track, create track stack. There are 2 types of track stack. One is a folder stack, which is very similar to folders that we used before, but I'm going to create a summing stack. I hit create, there's my track stack. Track stacks are incredibly cool. If you have a really large session, and let's say you want to pack all your chorus vocals together, no problem. You create a track stack, and they all end up summing through that auxiliary, which is really, really nice. Track stacks are a wonderful way to organize your session. And it's also kind of nice that in the Arrange window, we can select multiple tracks and move them around now just by holding Shift and selecting them. It's pretty cool. Got a vocal that needs tuning? No problem. I'm going to turn on flex mode and select flex pitch. Flex pitch not only determines the timing of the notes, but also the pitch of the notes. And we can see in the main window how off these notes happen to be. If you want to do a really quick and dirty fix, hold down Shift, select all the notes, pull them to their perfect pitch. Now we have a region. But now I know that's in tune. If you want to get more granular than that, you could always open the audio track editor. So in the audio track editor, get a more surgical view of our notes. I can change coarse tuning, fine tuning, formants. I can adjust vibrato, pitch slides, all that kind of stuff. And the audio file in the background that we see is going to change dynamically with it, which is totally awesome. If you want to do big global sweeping changes, you can just select a bunch of notes, and in the inspector, make your changes. Flex pitch is just ungodly cool. Check it out. Next on this slab is smart controls. What are smart controls? Well, I got this lead here. And I want to be able to control multiple parameters at once using one simple knob. To view your smart controls, go to View, Smart Controls. Smart controls are automatically added when you have a channel strip. So any channel strip that you load up, it'll automatically create these controls, and Logic's going to prioritize which controls it thinks you want to use the most. So in this particular case, we've got cutoff and resonance, attack and release on our synth. So we have a couple of these controls that are automatically assigned to the synth. Maybe I want to change something. Well, if I want to change something, that's no problem at all. I just click on the control itself, open the inspector, and this is where all of your parameters live and can be assigned. You want to add parameters? No problem. Control click and add a mapping. You want to get rid of some of them? You can delete mappings. And assigning these mappings is as simple as opening up an instrument, clicking on the control, saying you need to learn, click a parameter, and then you're done. Oh, but I want an external controller. Just hit learn, push a fader, and you're done. Now you have an external controller controlling the controller that's controlling the parameter within the synth. I want more than one parameter. Add a mapping. You want to scale them? No problem. Smart controls. Really cool. I'm just barely scratching the surface with it, but I think you're really going to get a big kick out of it. If you have an iPad, now you can have a Logic Remote. Logic Remote is an app that's available in the store now. If I just click on it and open it up, it's going to ask me which computer I happen to be running Logic on right now. I'm going to select my computer, and when I do that, Logic's going to ask me if I want to use the iPad as a control surface. I hit OK, and now we're synced. So what you're looking at here in this window is my iPad. It's got some neat features. If I go over here to the modes, we have smart control and drum pads. So your smart controls show up top, and then down below you get a series of pads. That happens to be because I'm on a drum kit. If I was on another instrument, I might get keys. But the smart controls will always show up at the top. And what's kind of neat is as you go down through your tracks in Logic, all of your smart controls will change accordingly. When we have a keyboard, we have sustain, we have glissando, and we actually have an arpeggiator built in, which is pretty cool. Let's see if I can find an instrument. Anyway, it's a little subtle. But yeah, it does have an arpeggiator built into it, which is totally awesome. You can fit to scale. You can change your octave. And like I said, you have your smart controls here. It's multi-touch, so you can touch more than one control at a time and get them going. So that's pretty cool. Smart control and then keyboard on the bottom if you happen to have a software instrument. If you're using something like an audio track with a vocal on it, it's not going to have the keyboard down below because it's audio. If I go to the chord strips, this is pretty amazing, but I need to have a specific instrument. I need to have kind of a more percussive instrument in order to make this work. So let me see if I can find something. I'm not sure I'm going to find anything in this song, Oh Mine. Oh, my battery's low. That is really cool. Sorry, I'm still getting notifications. So the chord strips allow you to strum chords. So it's cool if you're wanting to play something that sounds more like a guitar. You can do it directly on your iPad. So that's really cool. We also have the mixer view, and it's pretty standard. You can slide this top area here to go through all your channel strips. You have your automation view you'll have available. That's just turning automation on, or to read mode, touch latch, that sort of thing. You can record arm tracks, mute, solo, volume, panning. There's no plugin support at the moment. You can go to your sends, you can go to pan and volume or just volume, master fader on the right, You have your dim. So that's pretty cool. But like I said, you're not opening plugins from here. But you do have access to smart controls, and if your smart controls are assigned correctly, then that should help you get to your plugins fairly easily. One of my favorites here is key commands. If you go to key commands, you're actually able to assign key commands into these squares. So if I hit save, then that's going to save my track. If I want a new drummer track, no problem at all. Last but not least, we have Smart Help, which anywhere you go in Logic, it'll basically tell you, which basically gives us a really nice view of the Logic manual. So that's pretty brilliant. So anyway, hope you enjoy Logic Remote. There's other things, like if you click and hold at the top when you're in mixer view, you're able to go through your markers. I don't have any markers in this track yet, but it's pretty nice. So Logic Remote, go and check it out and tell me what you think. Now, I just want to show you a couple of additional things that are differences in the GUI. Of course, everything looks different. It's actually much easier to stare at the screen for hours and hours and hours. I can tell you because I've actually used this in just about every permutation I could, and it's really easy to use Logic late at night or at times where, you're going to usually get eye strain from a program that's really light colored. So that's one little detail. The other one is, if I go into the mixer has been redesigned, and some of the cool things about the redesign are the signal flow. So we have our instruments at the top now, flowing down through the effects to the sends and to the output. That makes a lot of sense from a signal flow point of view. Now, when we go over and insert, you can see that we have these hot zones on it. There's a power button. We have these little controls, which allow us to see the plugin itself. And over here, we have the ability to change the plugin. If I hold down the command key, I can still move it around. If I hold Option, I can actually copy the effect. Very, very nice. The mixer also has better faders and meters. Very cool. And as you see, we also have the libraries located on the left-hand side now, which makes a little more sense as far as signal flow is concerned. And there's no transport at the bottom of the screen. They saved all their real estate by putting all of those controls up at the top of the screen, your mode buttons and your controls. If you need to see more stuff here, that's no problem. You have the ability to customize this area and pop in any controls that you need. If you click this little question mark, this will show you information on any part of Logic that you happen to hover over. That's really nice for new users. I think that's really cool. And of course, there are many other things that are new. There are groove tracks, and the way the automation works is better. Everything's really just well done. The Logic team really sweated hard on this. And the beautiful thing about Logic is that it's Logic. We still have an environment window. The workflow is the same. Everything that you've learned up to this point is applicable to this version of Logic, which is beautiful. They did not hobble the software. It's not GarageBand Pro. However, if you're coming from GarageBand and Logic is really intimidating to you, well, that's no problem. We can actually go into our preferences, and under Advanced Tools, if you want Logic to look like GarageBand, maybe you're a GarageBand user. Well, just don't show the Advanced Tools. If you do that, oh my God, they even have wood paneling. So this will work very similarly to GarageBand if you're coming from GarageBand. But if you're a power user, just turn all your Advanced Tools on. Logic's actually really intelligent. When you first open Logic, it's going to look through your system and see whether you had GarageBand or Logic. And it's going to decide, it's going to help you decide on how you want to configure Logic to look for how you like to work. The Apple team that works on Logic is really, really thoughtful. They're really wonderful people. I'm very proud of them for this release, and I'm honored to be able to show it to you. And let's go into the future. There's so much cool stuff to explore. And if you want to learn from me in person, you can go to pyramine.com, and if you want to see some courses that I've already created for Logic Pro X, you can go to macprovideo.com. And in the near future, I'm going to be doing, I'm trying to decide whether to do like a Google Hangout or a Reddit AMA, or I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do, but I want to open up the forum so you guys can ask me some questions and we can explore this together. So anyway, it's great to be back. I'm glad to be able to show this to you and honored. And I'm so glad that I don't have to sit on this anymore. And I hope you have a blast with it. It's only like $200 and there's a new version of Mainstage 2. All the content that they created is astounding. It's great. Okay, I'll stop talking. Go have fun. Play. Talk to you later. Ciao.